Ooh. Deep breaths. Okay, let's go. Hey everybody, friends, family, and anyone who might be new to my channel. So my name is Shay. And my channel name is Bella Torreira. I think maybe in another video I'll get into why Bella Torreira, but for now, today is a Poetry with Shay episode. So why poetry? I think maybe it's better to start with why writing. Writing for me has very, very, very early memories in my life. I always loved writing. I think the earliest memories for me of loving writing was being about like 7 years old, and my mum used to, just as a way of keeping me sharp academically, would train me to write creative stories, and she would make me read newspaper articles and write summaries about them. And my mum was a massive champion of reading, so I read profusely as a young girl, and I think those were like my earliest memories of loving writing and enjoying the writing process. And then, like many of you, went to school and English was a core subject, and I fell in love with writing even more when I had the opportunity to study English academically as a subject at school. I loved reading. When I got to like GCSE level, that was the first time I was introduced to Shakespeare, and I fell in love with plays and theatre, and I just have always loved writing and studying writing and reading, and then I think I've also from quite a young age I used to keep diaries as well. That wasn't the healthiest writing, because I believe that as a young person you should be able to verbally express some of the emotions on your heart, but yeah, it was just I used to keep diaries as a young girl. I don't do that anymore. I still write personally, but it's more like journaling. So rather than like writing down every single thought or feeling on my heart, my writing is much more purposeful, like setting myself visions or inspirations that come to me just in my day-to-day life. And my love for writing didn't stop at GCSE level. I actually went on to take English literature at A-level, and this is a massive shout out to my A-level English teachers, Miss Ranson and Miss Adams, because they were incredible, especially Miss Ranson. Like she was just that teacher that every young person remembers. She allowed studying English literature to just become like an adventure, and the way she taught us our core texts, Shakespeare again, and others, she just made it so fun. And Miss Ranson encouraged me so much with my writing and developing my writing style. So it's no surprise that I carried on writing when I went to university, and then I had really good lecturers at university as well who also encouraged me to write. So that's kind of like a whistle-stop tour of why I write. And just in the last 3-4 years, I've started writing poetry as well, hence why we are here today. So in the last 3 years I've started writing poetry, and very, very recently I started sharing my poetry as well. Not just the written versions of my poems, but I've started speaking my poems aloud and to audiences. So whilst that's been very, 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 very nerve-wracking, it's allowed me to build up the confidence to share my poetry more widely. So I thought, why not start my channel with sharing some of my poetry? So I'm going to share 2 poems today, and I hope that the lighting doesn't change too much because the sun is literally setting behind me. I don't know if I should put a light on. The first poem that I'm going to share is called You Are. So yeah, let's hear it. You are deserving of love. You are deserving of love, mingled with desire, and stirred up with honor and sweetened with friendship. You are deserving of the rarity, the topaz gem named love. You are deserving of being cherished and cared for. You are deserving of the sparkling, deep, orange-hued thing called love. So that was the first poem entitled You Are, and a lot of my poetry is like, it comes out of reflections from just my own life and wanting those reflections to encourage younger me's. And I think this might sound a bit strange, but sometimes when I write my poetry, I think about my children and what words I might want to share with them at certain milestones in their lives that I went through. So it's a poem to really just remind us that we are glorious creatures, and that every single one of us is deserving of really, really, really good love. And yeah, I'll stop there. Otherwise, I could talk forever. Anyway, okay, so the second poem I'm going to share is entitled Mother Tongue. So yeah. Hearing your native accent, heavy on top of your English, is simply beautiful. The innate intonations and quickness or slowness and sounds, all piled on top of your English, it's simply beautiful. Some call you immigrant, but I call you a multilingual wonder. A wonder. So that poem is entitled Mother Tongue, and the poem was inspired by an encounter that I had maybe 6, 7, 8 months ago. I can't even remember. It was in a brief period where there wasn't a lockdown, and I went to the nail shop. And my nail technician is from Vietnam, and he speaks his English with a very heavy Vietnamese accent. But you know, both of us perfectly able to communicate with each other, and you know, you can see that. I could see that eagerness in him to communicate with me in English, despite the fact that he does have a very, very heavy accent. And I went away from that encounter and I was just like, this is a man who's come from more or less the other side of the world to try and make a life for himself in a foreign country. He's learnt the language, and he's trying, and not only that, but he's learnt a skill to try and provide for himself, and I'm sure his family as well. And it just reminded me of just how special multilingual immigrants are, and that speaks specifically to the last lines, you know, some call you immigrant, but I call you a multilingual wonder, because a lot of these people are incredible. They are incredible people, and the one stroke brush of immigrant often has very negative connotations attached. So those are the two poems I have for you today on this episode of Poetry with Shay. I hope that you enjoyed them, and yeah, just stay tuned for lots and lots of content coming on my channel soon. Ciao.